really good durability without lamination. The trade-off is a little bit stronger smell. Not terrible, but
with the solvent ink.
Yeah.
But they said that with the Eco solvent, you don't need a ventilation system.
No, you don't. You don't need a ventilation system with this printer at all. But you'll smell it a little bit, but it's not that bad.
So right now it's booting up.
Yep, it's just kind of going.
We've got no ink in the reserves, but it's just you're getting it started right now, making sure it's running okay.
Recording already?
Huh? And when you go out for repairs, typically on a Mimaki, what's the part that most likely, other than obviously refilling inks, but what's the part that most likely will break that I would have to fix?
Well, the head's kind of, they can be the head, but usually it's there's consumables that get worn out after a year or so. The capping station, so that's where the head is sitting on top of the capping station right now. There's basically a kind of a rubber rectangle, kind of a gasket that the head goes and rests on, and that keeps it sealed up so the head can't dry out. The rubber gasket gets worn out on that, and that has to be replaced. So that's probably one of the main things.
That's a pretty easy fix, though.
Yeah, it's relatively easy.
And we can do it ourselves, or we have to call you?
Most of the time, customers do it themselves.
Okay.
It's really not too big a deal, and it usually doesn't really need to be done until pretty much you're out of warranty. So most customers do it on their own.
Gotcha.
Wiper is a consumable that'll get replaced, but that's real easy. That just kind of pops in and out right
that's
here.
the thing that like squeegees the ink off, right?
Yeah. So you'll do a cleaning, and basically there's some pumps in there that'll pull ink through that cap top. So the cap top, it sets on there, but it also has a pump underneath it that when you have a good seal with that gasket, it'll just pump and pull ink through the system and prime the heads, clean the heads, and the wiper wipes it.
That's an automatic process, or do you have
Yeah, it's automatic. You can also do it, like if you notice you have some banding or some poor print quality, you can do a test print and you can get like a visual representation of the print head, the nozzles, and if you see a bunch that aren't printing where they should be, then you can go in there and just do a cleaning on the menu here, just hit the cleaning button. So that's kind of the main things that need to get replaced. The next thing, there's inside the head, there's a print head in there. There's also some little like plastic reservoirs on top of the head for each color. They're called dampers. Basically, they sort of store ink for the print head, but they also have a little filter on there to filter out any contaminants. Those can wear out too, and then they start causing similar issues. Usually it's kind of like a nozzle dropout that you see where you'll have a good print and it'll start printing for a few feet, and it'll start, your ink will fade out, and that's usually an indication the dampers need to be replaced. Those are the most common things. The encoder strip right in here, this little flimsy strip, if that gets really inked up or damaged, that could have to be replaced. Most of the time you just have to clean it, but
now, does the machine clean the encoder strip, or do I do it myself? No,
that would be a maintenance item that you would do, yeah.
And you clean it with like a...
With like a 70% alcohol, yeah.
And like Q-tips or something?
Yeah, like usually lint-free cloth would probably
cloth
be the best. You could use Q-tips,
but you don't want to bend that at all, that encoder strip.
Yeah, you want to be real careful with it.
Yeah, okay.
So you don't want to clean it all that often. You're going to be doing your maintenance just about every day on this printer. Where you clean around the cap top, you clean around the head. Even
if we don't use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if you're not using it, because that's where things start drying out, and you need to keep it clean.
And especially in the altitude here, it's very dry up here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you won't clean the encoder strip that often. You might only do that maybe once every 6 months. I've got a little document that I created. It's got a maintenance schedule.
Awesome.
So I'll give you that, which has everything that I would do to keep your printer going good.
Well, good.
So those are the main things that wear out. Right now, we're just going to be setting up our ink type. choosing solvent ink. This isn't anything you guys will have to do ever again. And you guys are getting the SS21. Yeah, the SS21, so that's what I'm going to choose here. And you're setting up for color. CMYK. Alright, so now I gotta cut into our cleaning cartridges. This is all initial setup. This is stuff you guys shouldn't have to worry about ever again.